Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thanks for checking out this video today. My name is Chris. We talk all about koi ponds and water garden stuff here. Just about everything you can think of. I have well over 100 videos here for you guys on all different topics, you know, on filtration, aquatic plants, pond fish, design, construction, everything about koi ponds, water gardens, waterfalls, the whole bit. So please take some time, look around on the channel, subscribe if you're into this stuff. There's a lot of good, useful information here for you. And use the playlists to kind of navigate your way around, because they have all different categories of videos broken down into playlists. So if you're looking for like aquatic plants, I have a whole playlist. If you're looking for, you know, pond design, construction, there's a whole playlist. So things like that to help you out. So today's video, we're doing something, I'm going to try to answer a question that I get asked quite often, and that is whether or not I need a overflow pipe in my pond. You know, if we get heavy rains, the water level in the pond rises to a point, you know, do we let it overflow? Should we have an overflow pipe someplace to take the water out? So I wanted to tackle that question here for you today. I can basically start off by telling you probably 95% of my ponds do not have any type of overflow pipe in them whatsoever. However, there are times when it may be a good idea, and it certainly would never hurt if you wanted to put one on your pond anyway. So typically, what tends to happen, the way I build ponds, you know, when I dig my hole and I put my pond liner in, I do not leave my pond liner laying on top of the ground, you know, and then put rocks on it so that, you know, any kind of mulch or mud or rain or anything could run into the pond. I literally build my ponds up a little bit. I bring my, if this is the ground level, I bring my pond liner up, I put my rock in front, I put my rock in back, and then I cap it all. The purpose of that is basically my pond liner is up so that nothing can run into the pond, and it kind of keeps the pond a contained, closed system from the ground and everything else around it. So this is also an advantage, not only to not letting debris and mulch and dirt and stuff wash into the pond, it helps to keep the water level in the pond a little bit higher than my ground level, okay, because I can build it up a little bit. Now, the advantage of having the water a little bit higher in your pond than what your actual ground level is basically good, because if the pond should overflow and the water from the pond should go down behind your pond liner, you know, and into the ground and build up in the, you know, on top of the dirt under your pond liner, that water could then build up and raise your pond liner up. Now, having the water level in the pond above the dirt level would allow the pressure from the water inside your pond against your pond liner to push out any water from under the pond, and it can be released on top of the dirt. Okay, as long as our pond water is higher than our dirt, okay, that pressure will help push any water from under the liner out. Okay, now that's basically only when your soil, your dirt that your pond is built into is heavy clay, all right, that does not absorb the water, and that will allow that water to build up underneath it. 9 times out of 10, most of the time, at least in my area, our dirt is pretty silty, pretty sandy, so water can perk through the soil pretty easily. So we never have really a problem of water building up under my pond liners. Now, there are cases where that has happened. I have replaced ponds that have floated up out of the ground due to a lot of groundwater. In that case, we may need some actual drainage underneath the pond to alleviate all that water that builds up under the liner. Now, I do have another video on that. I'll show you the picture up here. This video talks all about drainage underneath your koi pond. So that may be necessary if you have heavy clay soil. All right. Now, getting into an overflow pipe. An overflow pipe is great to have. However, I just find it not always that necessary. You know, in the summer, through most of our season, we have evaporation in the pond. And then we get some rain. And we have evaporation, and then we get some rain. So it kind of is always an equilibrium, right? It's always kind of a balance that occurs. You know, we get a couple inches, an inch or two evaporation, then it may rain and it fills it up a little bit. I never have issues where the pond, you know, we get rain, it overflows. We get more rain, it overflows more. And then next week it rains again and it overflows more. It really typically doesn't happen like that, you know, because in between we do have some of that evaporation. So the only time it's really overflowing a lot is if we have these torrential rainstorms, right? One after the other. You know, I've heard terms this year that I've never heard before. Atmospheric rivers, all right? I mean, if you asked me 5 years ago what an atmospheric river was, I'd have no idea. Yet this year I've heard that term several times. So basically, right, it's days upon days of just rain, torrential rain that keeps coming. You know, we can get 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of rain in a couple days period. At that point, yes, right, our ponds can fill up with water, right? Absolutely. Hurricanes, right, come in. Here in the Northeast, we have what they call northeasters, right? We get these big storms. And yes, at that point, we can get a lot of rain. As I said, typically, you know, the pond will fill up, it'll get some evaporation, we'll get a little more rain, it'll fill up. It kind of takes care of itself. If there are points when the pond does overflow with water, it usually will overflow obviously at the lowest point around your pond, that's your you know, lowest point of your liner. So, you know, that sometimes can be built into the pond, right? Sometimes that's just by chance as to wherever it's going to overflow. Sometimes it'll overflow and it might go into the yard. Sometimes it'll overflow and go back down under the pond liner and just soak into the ground. Now, having that overflow pipe, great idea, all right? You know, your water level gets up to a certain point in your pond, there's a pipe there, a little drain or whatever, take the water out, carry it away. So, if we're going to install an overflow pipe, okay, there's a couple criteria we need to meet, all right? Number one, it's got to be set to the right level, all right? Number two, we have to have a spot somewhere in the property lower than the water level that you want to drain, right? And we have to have a steady pitch on that pipe. We can't come down off the pond, come down underground, go and then come back up and you know, eliminate that water end of the pipe, you know, at an incline, right? Now, the end of your drain pipe where your water is discharging has to be below the water level of the pond, right? Okay, that is always has to be the pitch, okay? Water level's here, drain pipe is down here, end of the drain pipe, all right? We cannot bring our pipe lower and then come up and have this higher, right? It's not going to drain. if we have our water level, on the pond right here, our drain pipe comes out, it comes down, and then comes back up a little bit and then out, but the end of this pipe is still below the water level of the pond, yes, it will work. It will drain out. But here's the problem. In the winter, this water that comes down, before it comes back up, can get trapped inside that pipe, into that low spot. If it gets stuck in there, it's going to freeze, it's going to possibly break that pipe, and the water flow is not going to come out if it's all frozen. All right? So we have to have one pitch straight out all the way. Now, you can run that pipe 5 feet off your pond, you can run that pipe 50 feet off your pond. It doesn't matter. As long as we have a steady pitch, there's no place for the water to pond up in that pipe, no low spot. And, the end of the pipe is lower than the water surface of the pond where we're trying to drain from. All right, now, another little tip. The end of your pipe that comes out, whether you're using, 1.5-inch pipe, 2-inch pipe, 3-inch pipe, I don't know, whatever you want to use is fine. But whatever is the end of that pipe needs to have some sort of a strainer on it, some sort of a cap to prevent animals like chipmunks, little, mice, rats, rodents, whatever, from making a nest down inside that pipe. All right, I've seen that too, where chipmunks have stuffed all their seeds and nuts and sticks and leaves and twigs and everything inside that pipe, and then when it has rained, the pipe is clogged. All right, so we want to keep some kind of a strainer on the end of it that will keep the rodents out. All right, you never know. So, that's basically an idea. Now, where do I put my drain pipe? All right. Well, anywhere around the pond where it's feasible for you to run a drain pipe out. So again, right, the whole idea of having this drain pipe is you have to have an area lower than the pond, preferably away from the pond, to drain this water out. So if our backyard is perfectly level, it's going to be difficult to run a drain pipe, right? Because how are you going to bring the water out below the water level if you don't have any pitch in your yard, to bring that drain pipe out? And where's the water going to go? Okay, so it's not always a feasible thing to do. The other point too is, where else can I put a drain pipe? Does it have to be in the pond itself? No. Okay, we can put it in a filter. Like I use gravity-fed filter systems. So I can put a 2-inch or 1.5-inch bulkhead in the top of my filter tank at a certain level and have my pipe run out from there. Skimmers are often a good solution to this. We can put a bulkhead fitting in the skimmer. Some skimmers even have a hole pre-drilled into it to put a pipe through as an overflow. They come with a little bulkhead or something too. So that's also an idea. But typically, yeah, right, that's our issue. Now, again, putting a drain pipe in on your pond, you want to run that drain pipe away, right, away from the pond. There's no sense putting a drain pipe in your pond and pumping and having that water drain out, 5 feet from your pond, where it's all going to pool up and eventually work its way back into the pond liner, under the pond liner, right? You want to get it out. We want to have pitch, okay? But again, if you have, a sandy, a loose soil where the water can perk through that soil fairly easily, then a drain pipe might not be necessary. All right, it may not be necessary. But again, if you have the ability to do it, why not? It's not a bad idea, right? It's good to have, just to keep that water level in your pond at a certain spot. If your pond is built next to a patio, a pool deck, a pool patio or something, yeah, you might want to have a drain pipe to pull that water away, because we don't want the water overflowing out of the pond and flooding your patio and getting into your pool or something, right? Just some things to think about. So again, thank you very much for watching. I hope the video kind of gave you some ideas and little insights. Please hit the like button if it did. Subscribe to the channel if you're into all these koi ponds and waterfalls and stuff. Take a look around. I have a ton of videos here for you guys on so many different subjects. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we'll see you back soon again. Take care and have a great day. Bye.